Hello, hello. Welcome to another very special edition of How to Do X and Y. Today, where we last left off, I don't know if you remember, if you've been watching, we were able to log in like so, like here. We did have this issue where we logged in, we successfully passed the token in. A token is right there, but then we only get this welcome your username like we wanted it on a refresh, which is kind of an issue. No user is going to come in, log in, and say, "Well, I have to refresh in order to see my application and everything." So, I did figure out how to fix that. So we'll do that first, and then try to get some fetch from our back end is what we're going to try to do, and get some information and some cards almost onto the screen. And so that will be our goal for today, is just getting stuff from the back end onto the screen. And this will be like kind of the read functionality of CRUD. We'll try to make a full stack CRUD application, and this will take care of our read portion. We do technically have our create portion done, due to our ability to create sign up users right here, but we'll try to create reviews. That will be the next one, and then update reviews and delete them as well. So let's get going. I don't think that I changed much of anything on the back end. I did, it looks like, make a really small change to be able to access more traits of reviews and users on this review object serializer. I think I added review and rating due to them being fields in our model. And then we're able to access the review and rating of each user by going down into the user serializer and reviews equally this review object serializer, so that we're able to do user dot reviews, and have access to that like so. I did also write a blog post. I got this JSON file from hitting a trail API, and it has some nice pictures and just some basic information regarding each trail, its lat long. Maybe I'll do one on how to plot it on a Google Map component or something, and trail name, and just a thin image of it. We'll see it better once we get them onto the screen here. So again, in order to change so that we don't have this issue where we have to refresh on here. Oh, I did want to mention, if you're interested in how to get a JSON file and seed it, the database is seeded with all this JSON file. If you wanted to learn how to do that, I wrote a blog on it, and you can follow that, and I can put it in the YouTube comments here. And yeah, I just wanted to point that out. But back here, in order to fix this issue of that we talked about earlier, on coming in here and having to refresh, and it works, and it's updating state, I believe, still, which is strange. I think this has happened to me frequently. I think if you watch here, if we do admin, and log in with admin, home, yeah, no, I guess the user state isn't getting updated, but if you do a refresh here, then it does. So let's write, the best way to do that is to use a useEffect hook. So instead of using component, we'll use a useEffect hook here. And in order to use hooks, you can't use hooks in class components. So we'll change this to function home page and invoke it, and also bring in the props that were passed down from the previous component, which is right here. We're passing down the user state, profile fetch, all trails, and fetch models like so. So we'll pass in props like that, and then take away the render here, and just return our HTML elements like so, and write in our useEffect hook here. So useEffect comes in like that. Oh, kind of wrote it off for me. I'll delete that. I didn't know it did that. but invoke an anonymous function and then props.fetch models, invoke that, and then close it off and do comma, an empty array, and end the function like so. I changed that, and I think now, and then we don't need this anymore since we changed it to a functional component like so. And so we pass down from our home page, or from our private route, we have profile fetch, fetch models, and all trails, and the user are being passed down. So I think now let's try it again. Admin, try logging in. Yeah, cool. So now that useEffect has solved that problem. So we logged in and it immediately says that. And the bigger issue, like obviously that is kind of an issue, but the end user state got updated immediately, which is good. That's what we wanted to see. So that's great. The biggest issue with all that too was that if we didn't do that, if we didn't have that useEffect hook in there, like when the user logged in, I'm gonna make like a cards component where they see all the trails and everything. So let's start trying to build that out even. And they wouldn't be able to see all the trails come to the page immediately. They'd have to refresh, and no user is ever going to do that. So we'll make a cards container here, like so, and then import cards container from just period dot cards container. That don't need the JS. Obviously can no longer compile because we do not have a cards container.js file. And now it's empty, so it still tosses us an error. But here we can pass down, let's pass down all trails equals the props dot all trails. And I think that should be all that we need to pass down from now. So all trails is being passed down from the app right here. In our app, we have our login and our profile. And looks like we definitely need to, so we just have a profile fetch, which gets us our that admin that we kept seeing. And we definitely need to fetch from our trails endpoint. So const trail URL equals, I'll just copy this down here, /trail, and make sure with Django you have this slash at the end of your endpoint here. And I guess it's trails, so we might as well call it trails like that. And our state is user and all trails. I guess I already set state of all trails as an empty array, but we do need to do a trails fetch like this. Similar, I can even just, I'll copy all of this down here, and instead of doing profile, we want to do trails and fetch from the trails URL. And this is a GET request. Have to have a token to get it, so it's protected. And we're going to set the all trails state to the result, like so. And that should look pretty good. We might as well for now to do the exact same thing. I guess we need to also do a this.trails fetch when we want to fetch the models. And then we might as well do a this.reviews fetch. Might as well just cover them all, cover all our endpoints. So we had a trails endpoint, and then they're connected. And we had the users. I guess we don't really need all the users. I don't think so in this app, or at least not for now. So we'll just do reviews, URL, and reviews. And same thing here. We want to, and we have a component did mount calling this fetch models up here. This might make a tiny bit more sense. I kind of like having the component did mount up here. And then it reads a little better too, I think. We're calling component did mount if that evaluates to true. The fetching the models is below, and all our fetch models functionality is right here. And let's make the exact same one. We can copy this down right here and fetch to do a reviews fetch. This will allow us to see the reviews model right here. Due to our serializer too, we have the ability to do a user.reviews or trail.reviews is actually probably what we want to do here. Because we did this review object serializer, our trails have access to all the reviews that are attached and have a connected foreign key there. So reviews fetch, reviews URL, still a get, and we're going to set state of all reviews, let's call it, to the result. And up here, we need to define state as all reviews set to an empty array. And that should have us covered there. Let's make sure we're passing down the state of all trails. Let's also pass down the state of all reviews equals this dot state dot all reviews. So now our users trails, we not really fetching all users. So I'm going to delete that for now because it just will clutter up the app, but we do definitely need to have user.state.user, and that's currently as an empty object when you originally fetch it, but if you hit the profile endpoint, then it's setting it as the result. The user is getting set as result. So that should work nicely. All reviews, a profile fetch, I think still needed to be passed down, and then fetch models. So down into the home page or the private route, we have all trails. Let's destructure here with all reviews and pass down here all reviews equals all reviews. Oops. There we go. So now back into our login should still be fine. Back into our cards container, we're passing down all trails. And I guess we might as well pass down the reviews too for now. And in our cards container, we can start working on this here. And I'll still make this a class component just because I'm just more familiar still with class components. I'm still trying. I might do a whole lesson on converting everything in the end to a functional component. I wrote a blog post today on how to use the useState and useEffect hook. Sorry, my dog or someone was at our door, so I'm back now, but can keep going here. Eventually, we are going to have to do import from, we're going to make, so this is like our container right here that we're making right now. And eventually, we'll pass down to a card, each individual card. So we'll still build out the container here, and class, we'll call it cards container to match what we have our file name as, extends component, and then open it up and create a render and open that up and a return. And we'll do a div with class name equals 16 wide column, and I think I might have to do npm semantic UI possibly, but we'll just see how it looks first. Call it a ID with a cards container, container, and or we'll just keep it consistent for a class name, like so. And within this, we want to start some JSX. Let's first end a div. Like that. And within this, we want to start some JSX with a render trails function. And our render trails will be a constant as a function with this dot props dot all trails dot map. We're going to map through all the trails, get individual trails, and send them down to the trail card component. And React, you must have a key or it'll spit your error, and we'll do a trail.id. And a trail will equal the trail, so we'll pass down each trail. And that should cover us for now, I think. We just kind of want to see something onto the page, like so. And it is, this right here is letting me know I need to export it. So some people wrap it all down there, but I like kind of having it at the bottom. So we'll export default cards container, like so. And I think that looks pretty good for now. So what we did, just to wrap up, we created this cards container here. And this is our container that will hold all our cards, like a grid, kind of a box right here. And then each trail card will have an individual card. So we map through them. We fetched all of our trails and passed it down, and we need to map through them and send down each individual trail as an individual component in the trail card. And here, I will go to Material UI cards. I really like the look of here. And I think, yeah, this might be the best one, the lizard one. I don't think that we really need to toggle down anything or something like that. Maybe for the reviews eventually, but for now, let's just bring in this card here. And in order to get the source code for this, you should have been, usually they have like the source code here. Yeah, I don't know, is that not showing up when they, here. So you just take all this, all the source code, and it is a functional component. So maybe we'll have to change some things, but from here, you can at least have something like so. And instead of being a media card, we have it called a trail card to match this here. And that should all be okay. And we definitely don't have lizards, so we pass down, let's destructure here and have a trail like so. Maybe give it a little bit of room. So our trail was passed down from our container, like so. All we're passing down to each card is a key and a trail. So the trail would be here. And then instead of having it be a lizard as a title, we can do some JSX here and do trail.name. And don't need the share button, but we still might use the like button eventually. So we can get rid of that. And I don't know, I guess we could really pull out anything from our model. This is everything that we'd have access to right now. I know the description is kind of long, so I guess, oh, here, yeah, instead of having an image of the reptile, like so, we want an image of trail.thumbnail. Thumbnail was the picture right here. And I mean, we don't want to describe any lizards, nothing to do with lizards. So we'll do trail.directions. I think it's a reasonable field, like so. And we can remove that. Nothing has anything to do with reptiles, and just call it trail cards for the title. That. And oh, there they are. Yeah. So if we log out, let's log out here. So there's no trails onto the screen. And if we log in, we get to the home page, and this component's still there. We can move that around, but they're all right here. Let's do a little bit of CSS, a little bit with doing up here. You can do the make styles. You can add a little padding. Do that in quotes, to rem, and some margin. I've got a little bit of breathing room there. And then on some CSS, we can call the cards container here with this cards container. So our class name is cards container. So let's copy that down into the CSS here. And since it's a class, we have to do a period. And then let's flex it. And flex direction is row, which I think is standard, but we'll still just, and flex wrap is rep. And it looked like this flex wrap and all that worked out okay. If you flex it like that, then they bring it over like that, and they're in this container in a box like that. So that's more or less so, like I said, my dog was going a little nuts again, but that's what happens when you're at home with a pandemic, is you have some dog issues. But this looks like it got flexed okay, so all the cards are moving back and forth kind of how I wanted. And yeah, we successfully fetched from our back end. These are the trails that are in our database, like here. That we had our JSON file, and we are from our app here, we fetch from them only if there's a valid token in the storage. So if we log out again, we'll all of our state is empty. We have our app. You can't even, so we don't have anything in there. On our app, our trails, our review, our user is all empty. But if we log in like this, we are fetching from the back end, our state gets updated, and due to that nice useEffect hook that we put in the beginning right here, everything fetches immediately. There's no refresh that's needed. I guess if you do refresh it, it maybe makes, that's kind of funny. I've never really seen that, but on a refresh it brings you back maybe to that login screen, and we'll clean this up later. But for now too, I did want to, so right now we have this trail here, but we did pass down the all reviews like that. So the last thing maybe I wanted to do was on our trail card, we're able to map through the reviews since we had them passed down. Well, so this is like the whole, I guess it's easiest to see here is this trail right here. I think this is the only review in the database, but without doing, this is the power of those object serializers in the back end of this of Django, is without these, we wouldn't, this reviews field wouldn't be here. We'd be able to see our trails, but we wouldn't be able to have an easy connection to the trails reviews. So here we could, underneath the directions, how to get to the trail, let's make a H3 and have like a rating here. And the rating will be trail.reviews. And this is what's so awesome is you just can do reviews like that, trail.reviews. And without those object serializers, that wouldn't be in there. So we'll just do trails.reviews. We'll have to map through them. And for each, we'll get a review and do a review.rating, join with a space like here, and review dot, let's just review in the back end like so. So now none of these have any ratings, but we can add more once we'll build out the next one, do a review one, but within each card you're able to see, and we could write some logic that if there's no review, leave it blank. But here we mapped through it and had a rating of 5 and had the reviews right here. So thanks for joining me. We successfully got what we needed to. We got some trails from our back end onto the front end, and we'll keep building this out with our next one of posting some reviews to each trail. Thanks again.